Hi everyone, welcome back to That One for All. In this video, we are going to see how we can make this rental service a little bit more generic. So basically, as we saw before, the only thing that's changing aside from the text is the type of the object we are working with. So we can make this a little bit more generic because the type of the object actually doesn't matter for what we are doing. We can have it at the compilation time and Java will take care of the rest. So how can we actually do it? Let's create a new class. Alt insert Java class and let's call it rental service. Okay, so rental service will be a class that will take care of the same thing that we are doing for car rental service and boat rental service. I added main here, but no, we don't have main. Okay, how can we do it? Let's copy one of these. Let's copy the car because the method will be the same thing. Now, the only thing that we need to change is the list because we are creating a list of car and creating a new object with generics is possible, but not very easy to do. So technically, this will come from a database or another API or a file or somewhere else. And just simulate that, we are going to do the following. Let's copy. Actually, let's create here another list. Private list. I will do the same with car. For now, I will call it cars available. The same thing, but I will now create a constructor and I will get these cars available from a constructor. That's the only change we are going to do that's not entirely related with generics. Okay, so now what can we do? What do we need to do? Basically, where we have car, it should be a type that will be defined later. So the syntax starts with here. And we can use any letter, but usually when you are defining the type of the object, you use the letter T, the tangle. If you are working with collections, usually you use the letter E because I think it stands for element. But here we are working with type. But you can use anything, but I really recommend you to follow the pattern T. So T, where should we use T? We should use T where we have car. So basically here, T should go here and also should go here. So I don't know the type of the list, and when we create the object at the compilation time, Java will take care of that. So here is not cars anymore, so let's press Shift F6. The best word here would be object available. And of course we have to also change here, select, and then press OK. Let's continue. Now, what were we returning? Well, I don't know. We are returning T. And here, retrieve available object. It's not car anymore. Searching for any object. Now, what's the type we are retrieving from the list? Well, I don't know yet. I know that the type will be T. And we can rename here to T as well. So renting the object. Which object? This one. Available object to rent and return T. Return rent object. And here, what is the type? I don't know. It will be defined later. And T, and here T, and here T, and return object and available objects to rent. So basically, that's it. Where we had car, we replaced with uppercase T. Now, let's go to generic class test02. Let's copy and change the name. And I will do the following. I will copy this list from here to the end, cars available, and that was boats and also cars, because we are going to need this. Okay, so now I want to use the rental service, and we have to create an object that represents rental service. Can you see that we have now this T, that we can say that this rental service is for car. and rental service car equals, and when I type new rental service, as you can see, I'm not typing the type again, but if I take a look here, the list that we are expecting is a list of car. If I change this to boat, now the list that we are expecting is a list of boat. Basically, where you see T will be replaced by the type that you are passing right here. So we are first working with list of car, and we're going to pass car available. And doing exactly the same thing, rental service car dot retrieve available object. It's going to return a car, even though when we go here, the retrieve available object is returning T. That's going to be replaced by car. And then south using car for a month. And now rental service car, return object, which object? Car. Control Shift F10. And as you can see, we have exactly the same result, the same business logic working for car. And now, without changing the class, I will just add here the same code, but instead of car, it will be for boat. So basically, where we have car, it will be boat, and then here will be boat as well. So boat here, boat here, boat here, and here boat and boat. So the business logic is exactly the same. I'm just changing the type of the objects being returned and passed. Control Shift F10. And as you can see, we have exactly the same result. So if you take a look, we saved an entire class of code. So now from 2, we have 1 doing exactly the same thing. It may look simple, may look a little bit naive, but imagine all the frameworks that we have out there. If you think about Spring Framework, if you think about JPA, if you think about Hibernate, all the Java frameworks, they use generics because, well, they don't know what kind of custom objects you are going to create. Your domains, it can be a car, can be bolted. Look at how many domains we created along this course. So generics is very useful in certain points of your application. Usually when you are starting your application, you are doing the basic CRUD, creating, reading, updating, or deleting, it's probably not feasible to use generics there, even though there are some still possibilities with database, but usually you are not going to use. But when you reach the core of your application where you have business logic going on like crazy, the chances that you can use generic code are very high, and that will save you a lot of time. But be careful, because once you start using generics, it's not as simple as we have here, for example, with only this T. It can get very, very complicated. So be careful with its use. It's not all the developers they can understand. But you can also give this course to them, and they will be able to understand everything that you do. So I hope you enjoyed. Let's continue in the next video. Bye.